Hi folks, welcome to the Restoration Couple. Today's video is day 3 or part 3 of our shaker door or shaker maker series, and we're going to be looking at the first technique of construction, which is going to be the groove and panel method, which is essentially the traditional way to go. Stick around and I'll show you how we get on. So yesterday's interlude in this series was to stop work and make up a round table. Now I could have managed just with a piece of plywood and screw it onto that, but it wasn't going to be quite right. Then I nearly went out and bought a round table, but in the end I picked up this plate on Amazon, which was I think 25–30 pounds, and then I set about using a load of scrap wood to build what we needed. And this is what we're going to be using today. We're also going to use this, which is the corresponding bit, which cuts the opposite. So it's taking out the top and bottom, and that is leaving you with a tenon on the end there, which will slot into the groove. And I doubt these will fit together because this is old and new. In actual fact, it does. So there you go, 100-year-old piece of timber here, and our new piece there. And the technique hasn't really changed, albeit that this was probably cut in a much more time-intensive way. Just to show you how I worked it all out, I've got a 500mm cabinet to fit. So my door I want to be 5mm under, so it's a 495 door. Then I've taken off the width of both of these. These are 85mm each side. And then I've added on the size of our tenon, and that's equaled this piece of timber here. So the first job is going to be to change our groove bit in here, which is what was cutting the grooves in yesterday's video, and we're going to cut the tenons first. Don't know why that is, maybe it's because of the tear out, but that's what seems to be done, so I'm going to follow suit. First time I've done this, so that's my disclaimer. Find me knob. Twist my micro adjustment down, should hopefully give us enough. The other thing we want to make sure is just make sure our bearing is still in the correct position from our fence. Because we're starting off with our tenons, we've got the tendency for this to want to wander a little bit. So all I'm going to do is just use something that I know is square. You could make this a bit bigger, I guess, and use that as our guide to push this through. One thing that's worth mentioning before we get any further is all of this can be done on a table saw if you want to go that route. So you can do repetitive passes on the blade and end up with a groove like that. I'm not going to go that route today because my table saw isn't really up to that sort of accuracy, and we've picked up these router bits. These router bits were inexpensive, unbranded jobbies on Amazon. If they're any good, then I will stick a link down below. I've made sure I've got my good surfaces up, and I'm going to now make a mark on the cut ends, on the inside face, sorry. So this is cabinet 1. Right, let's do a test piece first. So you can see it's just feathering up a little bit there, so I think we can just raise the cutter by a tiny amount, and that should give us a clean cut both sides of the tenon. Right, I'm just getting my last 4 doors ready. Now these are for the top bank of units in the van, and they're actually going to remain stained. So I've got to get these ones right because I can't just stick a little bit of filler in here and there. I'm also patting myself on the back for the router table. It is working really well, and actually the extraction is 99% of stuff is going straight down there, even just with this one port. As I thought might be an issue, these were 20mm because I didn't want to carry on thicknessing them down, whereas our cutter appears to only accommodate 18mm. I'm going to have to give it a bit of bias towards the top, so at least it clears out the top edge. Just cut all of my tenons in the stiles, not the rails. Oh, nothing I can do with that. That's a whole load of firewood. I haven't got any more timber this size, this thickness, so I'm going to have to get out the thicknesser and do a load more. There's another hour wasted. Should we try again? Lunchtime over. Time to pick up some time that we've lost. So, firewood. They're the new ones. They're all the right size and they do not need tenons in them. Let's try again. Why did no one say anything? Before I get on to cutting the grooves, what I've done is just set that at a point so I can just trim off that extra little bit there we don't want. Right, in order to get this set up at the right height, I've got one of our bits of firewood back out and I've set the groove cutter so it will actually cut straight through the bang in the centre of this tenon. Out, and then we can do a test shit. That's the test cut done. You can see that we've got our tenon that's been left on the end there, and then our groove all the way down. This is almost looking like we know what we're doing. Well, dare I say it, it looks like a shaker door to me. But hey, first time, not too bad. It's going to be a fair bit of sanding, I think, to get those right. Sometimes people put a little chamfer on the ends of these, then that way it's a little bit more forgiving because you end up with a little V groove there, but we'll try and keep them flush, I think. So those are done. Now we're going to move on to the big unit doors. The marathon is done. The marathon is over, I think, providing it all fits. Right, you can witness the first fit with me. It's hard to tell how good these joints are going to be until everything's glued and clamped tight. They seem okay. Let's see if we've got something to test on there. This is that easy panel that I used in the hallway. Some people would use this as the infill panel. I think it might look a little bit twee for what we're doing. So that's going to be down, set down there. You get the idea. It's going to slot in. Doesn't look too bad actually with that panel in there. For anyone who wants to just see a close-up, this is the kind of construction. The tenon is exactly the same thickness as our sheet material. Remember, you can miss out so many steps. If you're just buying plain square edge timber, all you really need is just to sort yourself out with a little router table to set up, and then you wouldn't have to worry about the actual ripping the timber down, the planing, the thickness thing and all that. Now for most of these doors I'm going to be using plywood or MDF as our infill panel, but for the 4 that are going to be stained in the camper van, they're going to be in this poplar, the same as the actual frames. So I just started resawing this, but this thin blade is just not designed for that. So I've got a much wider blade for resawing, so we need to swap that out now. Alright, let's try again. That's the stock blade that came in it. So there you go. That was our plain surface to start with, and then you can see where it's really rough there. and not particularly straight. That's where we were trying to attempt to cut with that thinner blade. As soon as we put in that big resaw blade, this side here is actually a pretty fine sawn finish. Right, before we make any more mistakes, let's just do a test run on one of these first. Well, it all fits and it looks pretty good, but that's one of four. We've got 4 of those. They're the upper cabinets for the van. There's going to be quite a lot of sanding to do before assembly on this one, just because some of that tear out that I got from the thicknesser. So this is our set of 4 cabinet doors. So we've got our rails here tenoned into the groove. So this is kind of your traditional shaker style, I would say. But there is another way you can do the panel here. Let's go into the kitchen and I'll show you those. Okay, up here in the kitchen, we've got these doors here, which are the Pippy Oak doors, and they are in the same style in that they are shaker, and we've actually gone for the same width on our large doors. Inside you can see the infill panel is smooth, and on this side it's smooth. Now I'm pretty sure I can see a very faint line there that this is veneered MDF. If we open one of the doors, you can see exactly what we've done down there, and that's the width of the panel. This door here I had matched up by joinery when we put this kitchen in, because I needed some spare. It looks like they've done exactly the same thing, but actually on the inside of the door you can see that they've used a raised panel. So some people would have this on the outside, but actually what they've done is, because this is solid wood, it's not a veneered panel, they've done that so I guess it's about 12mm thick in the centre, much more stable piece of wood, but by using this profile it reduces down to 6mm, which fits in the groove. Now the only variation is the wider doors, which are going to be the 4 for the utility. Exactly the same construction. I'm going to get on and do that off camera. The only difference with these is I'm going to be using a 6mm MDF panel because it's a larger expanse and they're going to be painted, so that's an easy way to go. Tomorrow's video we're going to be looking at method 2, which is not dissimilar. but there's a few changes to it, and we will be hopefully a little bit of a shorter and sweet video to cover that one. So thank you for watching. Any comments, stick them down below. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, first time making doors, so you know, pick holes in what I've done, but constructive criticism greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.